Welcome back to the Sportsline. Sitting alongside Dennis Carter, I am merely Rich Roth, and we're joined now by a local legend, Brookville High School, Virginia Tech, and now the Washington football team.
Yeah, don't say that R word.
I won't say
Washington football team.
I'm learning.
We're thrilled to be joined by Logan Thomas. Logan, hope you're doing well. How's preseason training camp going for you in Washington?
Doing well, doing really well. It's been fun. It's been nice getting to know the guys, and I'm excited to get to the season.
We're hearing great things from people associated with the team that your progress has been very strong, and they're looking for you to see a lot of playing time this year. I'm sure you feel the same way.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to get on the field, help this team do what we came to do, and win, and that's win some games.
Logan, talk a little bit about life in the NFL right now in the COVID era, and I know that's something that affected you directly and personally, but it's a whole different world right now, isn't it?
It definitely is. It's something that you kind of got to get used to. It's kind of like the new life of the NFL. Every morning we come in, we got to get tested you got to get swabbed, and then they do take your temperature at the door, and then you get a tracer. They put in like a little memory tracer to see who you've been around, who you've been within 6 feet of contact with. And then you got to get that back at the end of the day. You got to wear your mask at all times. So it's a little bit different.
Logan, I know at the start of camp you tested positive for the coronavirus, but you were asymptomatic. You were quarantined for 10 days and returned to the field. How worried were you, mainly not for yourself, but for your family when this was happening?
Yeah, I was more so concerned about the family. Those are the ones that, I knew that I was going to be okay just based off of not having symptoms prior, and I'm a younger guy in good shape. So I knew I was going to be okay, but, with the young children, you never know how it's going to be.
Yeah, you got a big family, Logan. I know we were talking earlier, and your family has grown quite a bit. Where do you stand now as far as number of kids?
Yeah, we got 5 boys.
Wow.
Age range is 12, 11, 10, and then 4 and almost 2.
And you were also telling me you got a horse and some dogs and cats?
Oh, yeah, we got 2 dogs, 2 cats, a horse, a turtle. We got a little bit of everything.
There you go. That sounds like fun.
Logan, what about being... Well, I'm sorry, Logan. What about being so close to home? The opportunity to play with Washington. I mean, that's gotta be super cool.
Yeah, it's been kind of a childhood dream of mine. Obviously, growing up in Virginia, watching the Redskins on TV growing up, then becoming a Virginia Tech Hokie, and then I bounced around the league a little while, but I always wanted to come back home, be as close as I could, just so my family could be there and be close to family. Ended up with the Washington football team, and I'm just thankful and blessed for the opportunity.
You've been so dedicated to making it, Logan. I know I've read where you've been cut like 11 times in your first 3 seasons, but you just refused to give up on your goal, and it's paying off big time for you now.
No doubt. I could always see the light at the end of the tunnel. Just keep fighting to get to where I wanted to go. I knew I could play. It was just being able to get the opportunity in the right situation to prove it. And I've done a number of things well thus far, but I'm not done yet. I'm wanting to get better and better. But my family raised me right, raised me with that don't quit attitude.
Hey, Logan, talk about that transition from quarterback to tight end. And I mean, was that difficult for you? Was it difficult physically or mentally or emotionally? Or, I mean, tell us about it.
Yeah, physically it was the biggest challenge for me is I had to change my body. I weigh about the same, but just in a different way now. And mentally, it's a little bit less of a mental aspect for me than quarterback was. But, it helped me transition into the tight end thing. And, now I might be a little bit more sore after practices. But you know what? It's been worth it to prolong my career. And to be honest, it's been a complete blessing.
Who convinced you to change positions, Logan?
Well, what really convinced me was being on the couch for about 12 games. But I got to give a lot of credit to Bob Quinn the GM of the Detroit Lions. He was the first one to get me to change. I was in Detroit for about 36 hours, and then Buffalo called and they put me on the team and spent 2.5 seasons there and really got to learn. And under Coach Rob Boris, I'm very thankful for him, and he's the one who really got me started in the right path.
So, you talked about the change physically being tougher for you than the mental change, and the fact that you weigh about the same, but it's a different it's a different feel. What exactly are you doing differently? What did you have to change about your diet and or your weightlifting in order to change your body type to transition from a quarterback to a tight end?
Yeah, I basically had to bulk up muscle-wise, lose a little bit of the fat. Diet-wise, you just eat a little bit healthier, a little bit more protein in the diet, a little bit more greens, instead of, going and getting some junk food from more than 2 times a week or something like that. So it's you just got to make a conscious effort towards it, and that's really what helped me change up my body.
We're talking with Logan Thomas of the Washington football team, former Brookville and Virginia Tech football star. Logan, what's the toughest part about playing tight end?
The toughest part about playing tight end is run blocking, pass blocking for sure. It's just something that you're not used to doing. It's something that you have to get used to doing. Especially against the guys in this league, how talented they are, the size of the guys in this league. So. At our position, we're usually giving up a good, 10 pounds at the very least on anybody that we block. So, but other than that, and pass game became pretty simple for me just based off of my quarterback days. It's just learning how to block and the nuances of it.
Is there anyone in particular that you don't like lining up against, thinking, "Oh man, I got to try and block this guy"?
Oh man, there's a whole bunch of them. I mean, just look at the defensive ends around the league, and you can even look into our division, just the guys that we have to play on a weekly basis. But thankfully we got some guys on our team with Chase and Sweat and Kerrigan. Some guys that we can go up against every day to help make us better, help get us ready, because those 3 guys right there are wreaking havoc.
You think the experts, fans in general, are overlooking your football team this year? You don't seem to be getting a lot of love in the preseason.
You know what? That's for them to speculate, and them. They got to write their columns, and they got to do their thing. We're going to just keep going day by day, week by week, and whatever happens after week 17, and then that's what really we've shown that what we did this year, and I can't speak on what our record's going to be because, every game means something, and you have a chance to win every game. That's why you play them.
Lynchburg native Logan Thomas joining us here on the Sportsline once again. And Logan, talk about Alex Smith for a second and, what it's like to see him come back and what he's been through. And, is that story something that's super inspirational to the rest of the team?
I didn't know Alex before I came in. I've heard good things about him, but I didn't know him personally. Obviously he was in San Fran, and he got replaced there, and then he was in Kansas City, and there's a guy down there that's pretty daggone good, and he ended up getting traded here. And but everywhere he's been successful. When he was here, he was 6-1, and that's when he ended up hurting his leg. And so I didn't know much about him. I knew he was a good football player, but once I got into the locker room, and then obviously knowing his story and then meeting him, and he's an even better person. Alex is somebody that, you can mold a franchise around, which 2 franchises did. And, he's somebody that you can really relate to just because of things that he's went through. Just seeing a guy like that and his perseverance, man, it's a blessing to be in the same room as him.
There are a lot of former Hokies on the roster. You got Kendall Fuller, Tim Settle, Greg Stroman, to mention a few. Are they some of your good friends, or do you have other guys that you mainly hang around with?
It's always good to see familiar faces in the locker room, especially guys from your alma mater. The guys that my best friends in the league or on the team are the tight ends, and Hale Hinches, Richard Rogers, Jeremy Sprinkle, and Marcus Ball. Those guys do. We got the same likeness. We understand what's going on. It's kind of a position where it's kind of, you got to all be together on the same page. And thankfully I have those guys because even though we're going against each other, it's nice to have them to talk to.
Logan Thomas joining us here on the Sportsline, and just a couple weeks away. You feel like you guys are ready for the season to start, or do you need a couple more weeks to get ready?
I think everybody's itching for some real live action, some gameplay, and obviously we'll take as many days as we can get ready. You can never be too prepared. There's no such thing as being over prepared. We're itching and ready to get out there and play for Coach Rivera and see if we can stack up some wins this year.
Logan, what would make this season a success for you? What do you have to do to, in your mind, call it a successful year?
Personally, I don't really care much about my own statistics or anything like that. What we want to do is win games. So at the end of the year, if you win the amount of games you're supposed to, you end up in the playoffs. And, I think that's a goal of every team every single year is to go to the playoffs. But it starts with week one and trying to get a win there. And, like I said, after you get to week 17, you look at your schedule, and if you got enough wins to get in, you're going to be very thankful.
Hey, Logan, getting back to my question about preparing for the season and whether you guys are ready. I mean, obviously, the whole offseason's been wild, the preseason, there are no preseason games. Do you think that's going to have much of an impact on, player health? I mean, do you think guys are going to be ready? Do you think we may see more injuries because of no preseason games?
Honestly, I can't speculate on that. Obviously, anytime you step on the field, there's that opportunity for injury, but I don't see it being any different than a normal season injury-wise. Just honestly, I think it could be different because you're not getting the wear and tear of the spring on your body. All you've just been in training camp, and so I don't think it'll be any different. I think you'll see a good brand of football just because everybody's been itching to get back out there.
Do you guys as players like that there are no preseason games? Do you think this is a trend that may continue?
I think it's a toss-up. Me personally, I always love competition, so anytime there's a game, there's a chance for competition. But that's up to the other powers that be. I'll play this game no matter what they try and tell us, or no matter what they tell us we got to do. As long as there's games on the end, I'll be playing.
Logan, you got loads of fans here in Lynchburg throughout the state of Virginia. What message do you have for the folks around here who are getting ready to watch you play on Sunday afternoons?
I just want to say thank you. I've had a lot of support over my years, especially in the Lynchburg area, and then my Hokie fans all around. And I'm just extremely blessed to have the following that I do, the people that care about me, the people that care about my career. So to all you guys, I just want to say thank you. And, I appreciate you watching on Sundays.
Great. Logan, it's a pleasure for us to have you on the show, and we wish you only the best this season.
Thank you, Dennis. It's good to talk to you again.
Thank you.
Logan Thomas joining us here on the Sportsline. Quick break. We're coming back.